Welcome. My name is Kyle Bastian, and I'm so thrilled that you've joined me for this lesson on sales and customer success enablement. I'm going to be taking you through a journey here, and in the end, I'm hoping that you're going to leave with an actionable and practical approach to sales and customer success enablement that you'll be able to employ at your organization right away. We're going to go through this in 5 parts. So we're going to talk about an overview of what enablement is, what the components of it are. We're going to talk about the buyer's journey in the sales process and why we need to understand that in order to deliver effective enablement services. We're then going to get into the heart of this in the middle. We're going to talk about the types of content, training, and services that proper enablement will provide to the field. Finally, I'm going to go over some of the operational considerations that you're going to need to work through in terms of prioritization, communication, and measurement. And then we'll wrap this up and take this out with what we've learned. So looking forward to it. I'm glad you're here. Let's get to it. In this lesson, the first one, Introduction to Enablement. In this whole course, again, you're going to outline a modern sales and success motion that puts the buyer at the center. You should be able to orchestrate a world-class enablement services program for customers, field professionals, and leaders alike. And I want you to be able to master the communications and measurement frameworks that you'll need in order to ensure success and demonstrate the value. Let's start with a definition of what enablement is. There are many, and if you Google them, you'll find dozens. The one that I like the best is this one from this book, Sales Enablement. It's a strategic, collaborative discipline designed to increase predictable sales results by providing consistent, scalable enablement services that allow customer-facing professionals and their managers to add value in every customer interaction. There's a few reasons I like this. It's more than just content. It's more than just training. It's collaborative, and it's an approach. It's a strategic function. It's not just you spitting out a bunch of content to the field. This book, Sales Enablement, was written by the folks at the Miller-Heiman Group. They are very well known for piloting a sales methodology called strategic selling. It's a good one, but this book is fantastic. And I came across this book and this framework at a time in my life when I really needed it. I was working at the company I work at now, Drift, about 4 years ago. And I had been hired to work on the enablement team as a trainer. And within a couple months, the person who was leading the organization was gone, and I was thrust into needing to develop and build the entire enablement function at this company. Now, this is perhaps the most successful company I've ever worked at. It's the fastest growing company I've ever worked at for sure, and it's the largest field team that I had ever needed to support. So I'm over my head. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to approach this. I grabbed this book on a recommendation, and I took this framework that we're going to go through, and I adapted it a little bit, and I applied it at Drift. And this is still the framework that we use to enable our teams today. It came to me at a time when I really needed it, and I was able to take something that was way too big for me to handle and totally overwhelming, break it down into steps, organize the approach, gain buy-in from our leadership, and ultimately deliver services to the field that worked. Drift recently, fast forward a few years, is now a unicorn. It's a billion-dollar private company with an explosive growth trajectory. So I can tell you that this is how some of the fastest growing, best companies in the world today are enabling their field teams, and this is what I'm going to teach you. I've used this framework everywhere. I've had an opportunity to try this at Drift, at other organizations. I've used it in sales. I've used it in customer success. It's built to be agnostic. You should be able to use this in a variety of different industries, a variety of different growth stages, number of employees. It's very flexible. It's an approach. It's not a map. And so this should be able to be adapted to your organization. I'm going to jump in next and do a screen share, and I'll show you an example of what the final product looks like that I constructed and have used in the past. Okay, folks, so this is an example of the final artifact or deliverable that we are going to build together over the course of the sales enablement lesson. We're going to start by understanding what the buyer's journey is and what they're trying to do, the key questions that are on their minds as they're going through each phase of that journey. We'll think about how your company will address those questions, and then how we can structure key activities in your sales and customer success team to be as helpful as possible and add value to the customer interactions. We'll talk about milestones and where the kind of most important points are of these various different stages. We'll understand who are the people that we're serving, who are the field professionals that need to be equipped and enabled to deliver these experiences at each stage. And then how will we know whether they did it or not? We'll label these stages so we can review it and understand progress and reporting inside our CRM. And then we'll define the 4 types of enablement services that we need to provide the field to execute on the buyer's journey in the sales process we defined above. And that's the customer facing content, the internal enablement content, the kind of training that our teams will receive, and the kind of coaching that our managers can deliver to those teams to reinforce the entire process. And in the end, we will have a prioritized list of content that needs to be built that you can organize and execute against to take your organization from wherever you are today to having a fully integrated end-to-end buyer's journey, sales process, and enablement services with threads pulled all the way through to create a consistent brand and buying experience. So, as I mentioned in the lesson, I've used frameworks like this in real life in every enablement role that I've ever been on to organize the entire journey and make sure that everything that we do has a purpose, and that purpose is to make it easy for the customer to buy and enable our field teams to deliver those experiences. So this is what the final artifact is going to look like. We're going to spend the next lessons over the course of this entire program building this out together, understanding what each of these things are, what they mean, and how to build this for your organization by the end of this program. So really excited for this. Let's get to work. So one thing you'll notice about this is that it's a strategic framework. It involves a lot of different folks, and it has to be aligned to both the buyer's journey and the sales process, 2 things that are inherently strategic. And this is exactly what you're going to learn how to do in this course, and we're going to do it together. The first thing you want to do is I've attached a blank template in Excel of the Field Enablement Services framework that we're going to cover. Download that now, keep it on hand, and we're going to fill this out together over the course of this course. So to recap, sales and customer success is a strategic discipline designed to increase predictable results. You're going to learn how to build and execute the Enablement Services framework, and we're going to do this together. I provided a link here with both the book and the template that you're going to need to get started.